Welcome everyone, Gamer King Tar Heel back with another PlayStation Vita review. Today we're going to look at one of the biggest franchises in gaming that's been brought to the portable, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. Now, it's never a good sign a few weeks before one of the biggest franchises in gaming launches on a brand new console, the developer of that game says, oh, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be making retail console games. Throw in the terrible trailer, virtually no gameplay footage prior to release, and Call of Duty Declassified has disaster written all over it. I can tell you it isn't nearly as bad as you probably thought it was going to be. In fact, it's the best portable FPS I've ever played, but that's like saying I'm the thinnest guy at a fat camp. That's not really a bold proclamation. So let's dig into specifics. As with most Call of Duty games, Declassified has both a single player component and a multiplayer component. We're going to start with the single player component. The single player mode is divided into 3 separate sections and we'll discuss them each individually. First is the time trial mode. These are gun range obstacle courses where you race through hitting correct targets and avoiding incorrect ones, and you race to the finish to get the best time. They have leaderboards and they allow you to share your times with your friends. These serve as a nice, quick training exercise, but they feel largely forgettable in the long run. Next is Hostiles mode. This is the star of the single player and it fits perfectly on the Vita. This is like Modern Warfare 3 survival mode, where wave after wave of enemy comes after you. It's quite addictive, though unfortunately the variety of enemies is lacking compared to the aforementioned version. There's also no co-op mode either, which is disappointing, but the mode itself is a winner for on-the-go solo Call of Duty style gaming. Lastly is the operations mode or the story mode. I won't go into story specifics, but the developer tried to learn from its mistakes in Resistance Burning Skies and cater a story campaign to the Vita. The operation mode is divided into 10 operations, but they are meant to be played in short, quick bursts of gameplay. Yes, that means you can complete the whole campaign or operations mode in under 2 hours on regular difficulty. The premise is you're supposed to want to replay them, to get a higher score and to beat your best time by replaying the missions. I do admire them for trying to cater to the Vita's portability and adding replayability instead of just doing a tired 6-hour campaign. But for a $50 price tag you have to expect more. It'd be much easier to forgive a short operations mode if it was a magical 2 hours, but the story is bland and the missions are virtually the same setup. You're by yourself, you're tasked with either killing someone, rescuing someone, finding something, or blowing something up, and you're set up in a locale with a bunch of armed nameless guards running at you, and you follow them on rails until they're all dead and you complete the mission. The missions lack any of the giant set pieces that have made this series so famous. While they're built around replayability, they forget the most important part is the gamer has to want to replay the levels. Before we get to the multiplayer, let's talk about the graphics. Declassified is a fine looking game. It turned out much better than I thought it was going to, though there are very few oh wow moments. There are a couple. The frame rate hasn't been an issue either online or offline, and the game looks and feels like a Call of Duty game. Yes, there's jagged edges, yes some of the textures are murky, the lighting is blah, and there's that annoying white outline around your character, but it runs smooth and generally looks fine. I also want to bring up a point about the controls, as the controls in the game are excellent. They're actually the game's best feature. Regardless of all the other issues, a first-person shooter has no chance to work well without some precision. After adjusting my settings and some practice time, I felt in complete control. The touchscreen controls work fine, and I felt I had as much control on my Vita as I do on my PS3 controller. As Nihilistic leaves, someone will pick up the FPS mantle on the Vita, and there's a framework here for success. On to the multiplayer, which is a two-faced beast. In the multiplayer, you play 4v4 or 8-player free-for-all. In the team modes, you can play Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, or Drop Zone, or a rotation of the 3. The multiplayer does a good job of bringing that Call of Duty experience over to the Vita. The utter chaos, the thrill of the kill streaks, it's all there. I was simply trying to get some footage for a video, and I ended up playing for 2 straight hours once I got into a good group. There are some issues. The maps are very small, and spawn locations come into play, which is already a point of contention in the main series, but it can be incredibly frustrating when someone spawns right behind you for sure. But that's not enough to derail my enjoyment of the multiplayer. What is tough is the myriad of technical issues, from the constant disconnects, to the player hacks, to the glitches. When you earn a 10 kill streak reward attack helicopter, only to have it get stuck in the ground or a building, which I've personally seen on 3 different occasions, it can be really frustrating. Or as you can see in this video here of me dying constantly, instantly, to the same player over and over again. Stuff like that makes it incredibly frustrating. However, if these issues are addressed, the multiplayer has the potential to be the best on the Vita. The times that it's working brings that one more match mentality of the main series over to the Vita successfully. Overall, I don't regret my purchase of Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. I feel it's a step in the right direction, and I know I'll get the value out of it when I hijack my in-laws' Wi-Fi for some multiplayer action, or I kill some hours on lunch doing the Hostiles mode. But I'm the rare case. With its price tag of $10 more than the standard Vita game, the short, unoriginal single player, and a multiplayer hampered by issues, it's impossible for me to recommend it to anyone except for a select few patient gamers.